Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, President William Ruto has faced a serious political backlash online after he sent a congratulatory message to President Samia Suluhu Hassan of Tanzania, who was being sworn in today in the administrative capital of Tanzania, in Dodoma. President William Ruto was supposed to attend that function, but after the backlash, he has decided to send his deputy, Professor Kithure Kindiki, to represent him in that function.
Mimi Samia Suluhu Hassan naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania na kuitumikia kwa moyo wangu wote, na kwamba nitaihifadhi, nitailinda na kuitetea Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa sheria iliyowekwa. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Mimi Samia Suluhu Hassan naapa kwamba nitatenda kazi zangu za urais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa uaminifu na kutimiza wajibu wa kazi hizo kwa bidii na moyo mkunjufu, na kwamba nitawatendea haki watu wote kwa mujibu wa sheria, mila na desturi za Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania bila woga, upendeleo, huba wala chuki. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Mimi Samia Suluhu Hassan naapa kwamba katika kutekeleza madaraka niliyopewa kwa mujibu wa Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, nitatetea na kudumisha umoja wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, ideally, when a presidential election has been done and the winner has been now, ladies and gentlemen, ideally, when a presidential election has been conducted and the electoral body of any particular country has declared a winner or president-elect and there is no dispute, like in the case of Tanzania, even though the opposition disputed the results, but according to their constitution, there is no avenue in which all these elections can be disputed. So the only option that was remaining was for President Samia Suluhu Hassan to be sworn in. So in diplomatic circles, the only options that all these presidents had was to congratulate the president-elect, which they have done. But one thing that you need to note is that even though they have congratulated her, but most of the sitting presidents have decided to skip the swearing-in function. In President William Ruto's case, he has decided to send, just as I've told you, to send his deputy, who is Professor Kithure Kindiki, to represent him, because he knows how Kenyans would have taken this. Because up to now, we know that there are Kenyans who one Kenya has been confirmed dead or was killed during the post-election skirmishes in Tanzania. If you listen to the press release by the Tanzanian spokesman, he was kind of, in a way, trying to accuse Kenya or Kenyan citizens of interfering with the internal politics of their country.
Jeshi la Polisi Tanzania limepata taarifa za watu ambao sio raia wa Tanzania kuwa wameingia nchini kwa njia zisizo rasmi kwa nia ya kufanya uhalifu ikiwepo vurugu. Watu hao wanajifanya kuwa wanafanya shughuli mbalimbali ikiwepo bodaboda. Taarifa zinasema watu hao wapo katika mikoa ya Arusha, Dar es Salaam, Mbeya, Mwanza, Songwe na mikoa mingineyo. Wakati jeshi la polisi linaendelea kuwafuatilia ili kuwachukulia hatua kali kwa mujibu wa sheria, mwananchi yoyote ambaye amempangisha au anaishi na raia yoyote wa kigeni asiyefahamika na anafanya shughuli gani na mienendo yake ni ya kutia mashaka, atoe taarifa haraka sana kwa viongozi wa serikali za mitaa, wakuu wa vituo vya polisi, wakuu wa polisi wa wilaya, makamanda wa polisi mikoa, au atoe taarifa kwa kupiga simu kupitia namba 0699998899. Asipotoa taarifa na watu hao wakikutwa nyumbani kwake au kwenye biashara yake, hatua kali za kisheria zitachukuliwa dhidi yake. Jeshi la polisi linaendelea kuhakikishia wananchi kuwa kwa kushirikiana na vyombo vingine vya ulinzi na usalama vinaendelea kuhakikisha taifa letu linaendelea kuwa salama na lenye amani.
So had President William Ruto gone and attended that function, he would have hit him politically, in that Kenyans would have not taken that kindly. And if you want to know that that is the situation, I just want to sample a few comments on his Facebook page. And one here, someone is known as Honorable Karelius Kevin. He says that congratulatory message is on your own behalf, Mr. President. Another one says, this is known as Hamida, says that Mr. Githinji helping a fellow Githinji. I don't know what the Githinji narrative there means. Then the other one, Baba Precious, says, who are they competing with? It was a one-person race, so why congratulate her? Someone says, I want to speak my mind, but I remember the law which was signed just the other day. Jenga Jack says, on this one, let my Kenyan be unattached. Okay. Then the other one, Githinji. Then there is someone who is positive here who says, it's a protocol established. Once was asking myself the same question that Mwai Kibaki was congratulated in 2007. Any winner, fairly or unfairly, is congratulated. Okay. Another one, Samia competing with Suluhu and Hassan. They are now collaborating to work together as Samia, Suluhu, Hassan. Someone tell Tanzania we are not those mentioned by the president. Okay. Another one, it isn't Ruto's power or mandate to determine whether it was fair or not fair, as long as she was declared by the electoral body as a statesman or a Let me take that again. It isn't Ruto's power or mandate to determine whether it was fair or not, as long as she was declared by the electoral body as a statesman or for diplomatic relations. He has to congratulate her. Okay. Another one, based on this, Rigiji is now busy preparing a counter attack. Okay. Then another one says, this is a diplomatic right. This is a diplomatic thing the EAC chair could do. Tanzania is a sovereign republic, and President Ruto, in his diplomatic ties with Tanzania, he needs to build those ties by congratulating President Samia Suluhu Hassan. So, just as I've sampled just a few, there are people who are very positive about it, and there are people who are kind of negative. But just as I've told you, in diplomatic cycles, President William Ruto had to congratulate President Samia Suluhu Hassan, because as it stands right now, President William Ruto is the chair of the East African Commission. So ideally he had to do that. But by skipping that function, we've seen that the regional presidents have skipped the swearing-in ceremony. So that sends a very big signal that they are not kind of supporting what is happening, even though Tanzania is a democratic country, they would not want to interfere with the internal politics of that country. So the only thing and the only noble thing that they could do was to skip that event. Now, had President William Ruto attended that function, then it would have had a serious political backlash on him. Because as it is right now, there is some kind of cold war between the Kenyan citizens and the Tanzanian government. If you listen to what was alluded yesterday by the police spokesperson from TZ, he kind of alluded to interference in the internal politics of that country by foreigners. And he was kind of saying that there are some foreigners or foreign citizens who had infiltrated demonstrators in Tanzania. And in a way he was saying that Tanzanians are peace-loving citizens and would have not gone to the extreme of demonstrating against their sitting government. And Kenyans have interpreted this to mean that they were kind of accusing Kenyans of infiltrating the demonstrators in Tanzania. And this has not sat down well with the Kenyan citizens. This has not sat down with the Kenyan citizens. And for President William Ruto to have gone there and attended that function, Kenyans would have interpreted it in a different way altogether. And you know, Kenyans are very outspoken. They would have attacked President William Ruto politically, and that going into 2027 would have given him a very bad image. So the only thing he has done is to sit back, then send a representative to try and build the diplomatic kind of ties that we have with Tanzania, to cement it in a way, but domestically try to save his face. So on the other hand, you see other presidents, like President Museveni as well, has sent his congratulatory message, but he has also skipped the function. President Paul Kagame as well, I think, has sent his congratulatory message. I've not seen it. I've seen the congratulatory message from the President of Somali, President of Sudan, African Union Commission, and the Zimbabwe, Zambia, and South Africa I've not seen as well. Even though all these presidents will send their congratulatory message, but the biggest task for President Samia Suluhu Hassan is her legitimacy, because this is the first time that a president in Tanzania has been sworn in without involving the public or without the public attending that function. This tells you about what her legitimacy, this tells you how her legitimacy is at stake. Because imagine you're a president who cannot meet the people, that you are going to rule over. You know, as a president, your legitimacy comes when the citizens willingly gives you the power to rule over them. But a situation whereby that power is not given willingly, it's like you've taken it by force, then your legitimacy comes into question. And I don't know how she's going to handle this going forward. Either she will have to reach out to the opposition leaders and form a coalition that will govern that country going forward. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep monitoring what's going on in the political cycles and keep you guys updated. But if you're new here and you like our content, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye bye.